In the summer of 1940, with the European continent engulfed in flames, Italy stood at a decisive crossroads. For nearly a year after the start of World War II, Benito Mussolini had declared Italy a non-belligerent power, a nation that was not officially at war, but certainly not at peace. Italy watched from the sidelines as Nazi Germany conquered Poland, Denmark, Norway, Belgium, the Netherlands, and finally, in a stunning 6-week campaign, France. To outside observers, Italy's hesitation seemed unusual for a fascist state that had openly embraced militarism and expansion. But behind the scenes, Italy was deeply unprepared. Its economy was weak, its military ill-equipped, its industrial base incapable of sustaining a long war. Mussolini, despite his aggressive rhetoric, knew Italy could not survive a prolonged conflict. But by mid-1940, Europe had changed. France was collapsing. Britain was reeling. Germany appeared unstoppable. The moment Mussolini had been waiting for, a chance to join the war with minimal cost and maximum gain, had finally arrived. On June 10, 1940, Mussolini addressed a massive crowd from the balcony of Palazzo Venezia in Rome. His words echoed through the square. La dichiarazione di guerra è già stata consegnata. The declaration of war has already been delivered. Italy had entered World War II. But how did this happen? How could a nation so unprepared willingly plunge into a global war? And what did Mussolini hope to gain? To answer these questions, we must trace the political ambitions, military weaknesses, economic struggles, and monumental miscalculations that defined Italy's road to war. Benito Mussolini, the founder of fascism, envisioned Italy as the successor to the Roman Empire. In his mind, Italy deserved an empire stretching across the Mediterranean, a mare nostrum, as ancient Romans once called it. Mussolini's regime was built on expansionist dreams. Libya, in the 1930s, had been brutally conquered, Ethiopia in 1936, and Albania in 1939. These victories emboldened Mussolini, but they also blinded him. He believed Italy could wage modern war simply through willpower and national pride. The reality was starkly different. Italy lacked oil, coal, steel, and raw materials. Its factories were outdated. Half its equipment came from World War I. Its air force had more biplanes than modern fighters. Its navy had no aircraft carriers. Its army lacked trucks, radios, and armor. Italy, in truth, was a second-tier power masquerading as a major empire. Despite ideological similarities, Mussolini initially disliked Hitler. he considered Nazism crude, violent, and racially extreme. Yet by 1938, Mussolini realized that Italy could not act independently on the world stage. Germany was rising. Britain and France opposed Italian ambitions. Diplomatic isolation grew. Fascist Italy needed a powerful partner. Thus began the Pact of Steel, a military alliance binding Italy to Germany. The pact, however, included an Italian condition. Italy needed at least 3 years before it would be ready for war. Hitler ignored this, invading Poland only 4 months later. Mussolini panicked. Italy was nowhere near prepared. He declared Italy non-belligerent and spent months desperately trying to rebuild his forces. By May-June 1940, everything changed. Germany swept across France with shocking speed. The French army, pride of Europe, collapsed. Paris fell. Mussolini watched in disbelief, then excitement. He began to fear that if he didn't enter the war immediately, Germany would defeat France alone, and Italy would gain nothing. Mussolini famously said, "I only need a few thousand dead Italians to sit at the peace table." His goal was not to fight a long war. His goal was to join a victory parade. Italy declared war on June 10th, expecting France to surrender within days. Instead, Italy's early military actions were a disaster. Italy launched a ground attack across the Alps with inadequate weapons, outdated artillery, and poorly trained troops. The French defenders, though exhausted, fought fiercely. Italian forces advanced only a few miles. Thousands suffered frostbite due to inadequate clothing. It was a humiliating debut. When France finally surrendered, it was not because of Italy, but because Germany had already crushed French resistance. Mussolini sat at the negotiating table, but his role was minimal. Hitler granted Italy only small territories in southeast France, far less than Mussolini had expected. The war was off to a bad start. The war expands: North Africa, Greece, and the Balkans. Mussolini still sought glory. If Italy could not win victories in France, perhaps it could build an empire elsewhere. Thus began a series of reckless campaigns. Italy invades Egypt, 1940. Italy attacked British forces in North Africa, but advanced only a short distance before collapsing. Within months, the British counter-offensive destroyed much of the Italian army. Italy invades Greece, 1940. Mussolini attacked Greece without informing Hitler. He expected an easy victory. Instead, Greek forces pushed Italy back into Albania. The campaign required massive German intervention in 1941. Another humiliation. Hitler, who expected Italy to be a strong ally, now saw Mussolini as a burden. German troops had to rescue Italy in Greece, in North Africa, and later even inside Italy itself. Italy's unpreparedness and repeated failures forced Germany into new fronts, stretching the Wehrmacht thin. The alliance survived, but distrust grew. Inside Italy, the war brought shortages, rationing, blackouts, bombings, and rising unrest. As casualties mounted, support for Mussolini faded. By 1943, with Allied troops invading Sicily, Mussolini's regime collapsed. He was arrested, later rescued